Welcome to the world of awakening yourself. This is Essence Evolve, finding you inside of you. And I wanted to start it off with saying it that way. Welcome to wakening up you inside of you. Because that's what this is all about, finding you inside of you. It's that part of you that's missing, if you want to look at it that way, but it's just not missing, if that makes sense. But it's that part of you that's just lying dormant, that you need to go inside of you and find that part of you. And then when you find that part of you, trust me, nothing will ever be the same in your life. So again, this is Essence Evolve. Before we get right to it, make sure you subscribe to this channel, Finding You Inside of You. And don't forget to like. All right? Got all that out of the way. So let's just get right to it. Today, I want to talk about letting something go. And you may be thinking, okay, well, what do I need to let go? Or what else do I need to let go of? Because we have let go of a lot of things that's inside of us that is causing us to be stagnant or dormant or however you want to define it. But this subject today, tonight, or wherever you're listening from, is letting go of emotional, unhealthy attachments. So I'm going to say that again. Letting go of emotional, unhealthy attachments. Now let's unpack that. You know, emotions has to do with how we feel about ourselves, how we feel about things, how we feel about other people. It's all about how we feel. So if you look at emotionally and you just break it down and do the prefix and say emotions or emotions, has something to do with how I'm feeling. And then unhealthy is just pretty self-explanatory. Unhealthy is toxic. It's making you sick. It's causing us to have dense energy. And dense energy is heavy energy. It's that kind of energy that makes you feel sluggish. It's that kind of energy that when someone leaves your presence or you leave the presence of a certain environment, it leaves you feeling foggy. It leaves you feeling unclear about a thing. But most importantly, dense energy or unhealthy energy causes us to be unhealthy, makes you sick. It causes you to have headaches. You know, you could be around certain, I just use people because that's what this main podcast is going to be about, is people. So unhealthy people. So you may be saying, well, Essence Evolve, how do unhealthy people make me sick or make me ill? You ever been around the energy of people or the spirit of people and you can't wait to leave their presence, or you can't wait for them to leave your presence because that energy that they're giving you is called a vibe also. That vibe that they're giving you, it's making you not feel good about them being in your presence. It's actually making you sick. And how it makes you sick, that it causes you stress. It causes you worration. It causes you to now begin to question your own self, because the emotions of that person is projecting its emotions on you, and you didn't feel like that until you came into the presence of that person or that group. Doesn't have to necessarily be just a person. It could be a group. It could be an environment with a group of people. You could be at the grocery store. You can even be at church. It doesn't matter, because energy is energy. Emotions are emotions. And that unhealthy part, what it does, it changes the dynamics of your authentic self. And then attachments. I'm just want to break down this title, then go for it. Then attachments. That's what we attach ourselves to. And that's what someone else attaches itself to us. Now I'm going to reread this again. Letting go of emotionally unhealthy attachments. Could it be people, places, or things, which everything is energy, and these energies are impacting you or me in a very negative way? Ask yourself this question. What do I need to let go of when it comes to an individual that's carrying unhealthy attachments? And you may say, well, I still can't figure out like where you're going with this, or how do I detach from emotionally unhealthy attachments? It's one simple question to ask yourself. Is whoever's presence I am in for my highest good? Are they there for my highest good? Now that's something really to sit with, because a lot of times we're not asking the questions, why do I feel this way every time this person comes around? Or why do I feel this way every time I go to this place? And remember, I said it could be in an environment, but I want to break it down to people, because you know what? Where we are moving now into what is happening in our global society, and it is affecting us all, whether we want to acknowledge it or be aware of it or not. We know that something is going on. A shift has not only taken place, but understanding how the shifts has to do with me and my highest good. So we have moved into a time now that we really have to be conscious, meaning like pay attention to what is been brought to us in our consciousness. We may not always understand it, but what has been brought to us in our consciousness that has to do with people, especially in this day and time, that we have emotionally attached ourselves to. And we've got to start backing up. We've got to start backing up and asking ourselves, is this person in my presence for my highest good, especially when your intuition has begun to kick in and say, you know, just something's not right about this individual. It's just something that's not right about this group that I'm with. It's just something about fill in the blank. Your intuition is letting you know that you need to make some changes with your friendships. And it could even be family. It doesn't matter, because people are people. And you have to realize this too. When we have attached ourselves emotionally with unhealthy vibe people, we didn't know that at first, because something within us caused us to feel that we had to be with certain people or with certain groups. But as we begin to find more of us inside of ourselves, we're beginning to ask ourselves the question, where do I belong? Where do I belong? So the first thing you must ask yourself is this, especially as we have moved into this particular dispensation of time, and we've really shifted into a higher level of thoughts, I'll say within the past 6 months. It is going to continue to elevate. The expansion is going to continue to elevate. But the thing of it is that, are you paying attention to your consciousness? Are you paying attention to what's being revealed to you when it comes to people? Because when you have goals set in mind, when you have things that you need to do, or when you have a direction for your life, that you have moved from fate to destiny, you can't take everybody with you. And so we have to begin to make some decisions. And we can't take everybody with us, meaning this. Well, you know, that's just my friend. Or, well, that's just my partner, or that's just my colleague. Are they uplifting you? Because see, this thing is reciprocal. Are you always pouring out to other people, but you're never receiving anything in return? You're dealing with an unhealthy attachment. You're dealing with an unhealthy vibe. So we have to begin to ask ourselves, number one, is the presence of this person that I've known for 10, 15 years, 5 days, it doesn't matter, or all my life, is this for my highest good? Is this adding to me, or is it taken away from my purpose, my destiny? And then another thing that we have to look at emotionally unhealthy attachments is your mind being clouded by a person. And what do I mean by being clouded? You don't know what to think. You don't know what to say about that. You don't know what to say about that person anymore. See, and that's what happens when you begin to take deep dives into yourself. You begin to like, wait a minute, what is this? I thought that you were a friend. I thought that you were a partner. I thought that you had my back. And there is a such thing as fair weather friends. Fair weather friends. These are the type of people that we emotionally get attached to because we didn't know it at the time, because we're just so empathic or so compassionate that we want to help everybody. And there's nothing wrong with helping people, but sometimes we're helping vampires. That means that they suck all your energy out. They cloud your mind. They manipulate. You're beginning to ask yourself, now wait a minute. My vision is clouded of myself, but watch this. It's not clouded of what consciousness or spirit or my intuition is trying to get me to see. My spirit, my intuition, or my gut, or my divinity is wanting me to move on, because this individual or this particular group or this particular place, which has people in it, is not serving your highest good anymore. Because you've come to a place like, I'm greater than that. I'm better than that. And that's not ego talking. Better than that means that I have values, or I'm going back to my values. I'm going back to my standards. And so when you're going through this metamorphosis here, and you are emotionally, because see, there's some emotions that's happening within yourself, because I really like that person. I really like that group. I really like hanging out. But is this serving your highest good? Is there any reciprocity, or are you around fair weather folk? And we've got to recognize people like that in this day and time, because it's just like a floodgate is open. Everybody for themselves. And I don't agree with everybody for themselves. I understand you empowering yourself, but the mindset of everybody for themselves, you all into your ego, and then it's all about you. You're a manipulator, you're a taker, and you're a user. And that's toxic, because now your emotion is all about me, all about my survival. And there's nothing wrong with about you and your survival, but are they giving anything back? And that will be draining of you as an individual, because you're tired, but you just keep on smiling. You're tired, but you just keep on lugging down the road. You're tired, but your confidence hasn't arisen where you are using your voice to follow what's in your heart, to ask yourself and be truthful with yourself. Is this for my highest good? Has this person clouded my vision so much, or my perception, if you will, that I don't want to be with them, but I want to be with them? I want to be liked, but I don't like how you're making me feel. Time to stand on your square. How does emotionally unhealthy attachments develop? Now, this is the part that was the unconscious part to us. How do we attach? Excuse me. How do we attach ourselves to vampires? How do we attach ourselves to users and takers? Well, usually what happens is that these people saw, or this group saw an open door that you didn't see about yourself. And they walked right in it. And it's called manipulation, persuasion, appealing to your emotions, and fear. Now let's look at this one. I want to dance with persuasion first. I'll use myself as an example. Well, you know, Essence Evolve, you're just really good at what you do. You're really good. How about letting me, I'll use a podcast for as example. Now, this hasn't happened, but I just want to use some examples. How about you letting me come on your podcast with you? How about you, now watch how I'm sneaking in. How about you letting me come on your podcast for you? And I know you're talking about finding you inside of you, and I can talk about health and wellness. I just threw that one out there. And then I didn't really realize I was being persuaded because this is one of my friends. This is one of my family members. This is a person who is a fair weather person, because somewhere back there I'm saying, here they come. Every time you see them, I know that they want something. So that's an unhealthy emotional attachment, because now they have attached themselves and using my emotions because they know that I'm a friendly person. I want to see everybody succeed who's willing to do the work. So now you're going to play me. But when I begin to figure things out, because we have moved into a time now that you have to really pay attention to people, especially when you want a path and you know that you're going somewhere and doors are opening for you and things are beginning to happen. And then here come people that you hadn't seen in a long time. Here come people that you've reached out to them, but they never called you back. Let's just keep it real. We attach to these people because the irony is that they saw something in you or me that they wanted to capitalize on. So it's time to let people go. That's what I want to communicate with this particular podcast. It's time to let people go, and it's okay. We've been carrying around people like a ball and chain, like we somebody's parent. I'm not your parent. You're not their parent. It's time to stand up and say no, and let your no be no. It's time now to look out for yourself and those who are in your tribe, those who are vibing with you. Now, someone may say, well, this is a hard lesson here. It's not a hard lesson. We live in a real society now where everybody is not your friend. We live in a society, well, I won't say it's now, but it's just getting worse. We'll have moved into a society now where the consciousness or the sensitivity, that's what I want to use, the sensitivity of all people have not kicked in because their energy is not good. They're not looking to you for your highest good. And we have to accept that. We have to accept the fact that everybody that I'm attached to is not for my highest good. Let that sink. We have to see clearly now with what we see. Follow your heart. Your heart will not lie to you. That means your heart, your gut feeling. Not your brain, not your mind, because that ego is going to cause you to say, well, it's not that bad. Or, well, I don't think that they really. Maya Angelou, and I will quote her because Maya Angelou said this, when a person show you or people show you who they are, believe it. And I'll add to that, when people show you who they are and it's a pattern, believe it. And I'll conclude with this. If we do not let go of emotionally unhealthy attachments, it can lead us to being vulnerable, dependent, and have problems with letting them go. I want to read that one again. If we do not let go of emotionally unhealthy attachments, this is what's going to happen. It will continue to lead us in a vulnerable state with the person, because now you're becoming vulnerable because you don't know which is up and which is down. So you're in a very vulnerable position now to be taken advantage of because of the manipulation, because of the persuasion. Because people, a lot of times that we have unhealthy emotional attachments with, they're very, 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 very persuasive. They'll talk you out of your shoes, and you will have given them your shoes because your compassion. Okay, here you go. Here my shoes. Here's shoes. Okay, here you go. Here's $5. Here you go. Here's $50, and you never paid me back the 25 from the last time. Well, you know, I'm gonna pay you back. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. And so that persuasion, because now they're using their emotions to cause you to be manipulated. Because a lot of times, empathic people are very compassionate people. We attach ourselves, and I can speak for myself, we attach ourselves to emotionally unhealthy attachments because sometimes we just feel sorry, or sometimes we just want to like help, and then folk take advantage of your kindness until you're like, wait a minute, they have taken my kindness as a sign of weakness, and then we want to kick in, which is nothing wrong with that as long as you kicked in, because now you see. So we must learn to manage our emotions and ask ourselves going forward, dealing with people, dealing with places where people are at, dealing with groups. Is this for my highest good? Do I need to go or do I not need to go? Do I need to go to the barbecue because I already know what's going to happen? I already know the drama because it always is. Or do I not need to go? Do I need to hang with y'all? Or do I not need to hang with y'all? Check the energy. Check the spirit. And I throw in the Bible right here for a second. Try the spirit by the spirit. And I break that down as far as my understanding. Ask yourself, how do you feel when you're around certain people? How do you feel when you're in certain environments, certain groups? Because it's time now to be about your business. It's time now to take care of your garden. It's time now to weed out the weeds that have grown in your garden. Because you planted corn, or you planted tomatoes, or you planted cucumbers, and all of these unhealthy emotional attachments have come in your garden, and that you didn't weed out when you needed to weed out, and now you can't even find the plants that you planted. So it's time to weed out. It's time to weed out. It's time to let go. And it's okay. It's time to thine own self. Be true to thyself. Follow the path. Stay focused. Find your right tribe. Find who you have been sent to. And just like when people fish, and if that's not the right fish, what do? They throw it back in the water. And that's okay. So this is Essence Evolve, finding you inside of you. And the more you find you inside of you, you begin to say, I need to let that go. I've walked around that same mountain long enough as it relates to people. It's time to let go. And it's okay to let go. So until the next time, Essence Evolve, stay focused, find you inside of you, and keep it moving.